Nothing forces me to create differently or see the world through my camera in a new way like a fresh piece of glass. And today we're talking about the Sirui 20mm T1.8 anamorphic autofocus lens. Now, a few months ago, Sirui sent over the 40mm anamorphic lens, and I was genuinely impressed. Not just by the fact that we have, of course, autofocus on anamorphic lenses, which is crazy in itself, but that they're actually affordable and giving more of us a chance to use them in the field. My biggest criticism of the 40mm sibling was its autofocus. When it worked, it was sticky and accurate, but it would lose focus on the edges of the frame, and when it missed, it completely missed, like complete airball. The 20mm, however, has significantly better autofocus, a closer minimum focus distance, and much quieter motors. It's also worth noting that the 40mm has received an update that's expected to fix some of those issues, so if you want to see a follow-up video on that lens, let me know in the comments down below. Now, if you're a fan of this channel, you know that I'm not the most technical reviewer, but what you will get from me is sample footage and an honest opinion. But first, let's cover some of the basic specs first and get those out of the way. This is a T1.8 lens with a 1.33 squeeze factor. The build quality is impressive for its price point. It's all metal construction, smooth autofocus and aperture rings that match the 40mm. So if you have like a follow focus system, you don't have to worry about changing around too much or moving gears. Has a compact size compared to the traditional anamorphic lenses. This thing is tiny, and it has a 77mm filter thread. The lens weighs around about 900 grams, making it relatively lightweight for an anamorphic lens. These lenses traditionally are massive and require, multiple camera operators and a big crew to operate. But the image quality is where this lens really shines, in my opinion. I have the neutral flare version, but there is also a blue flare option that will give you that signature anamorphic look. This lens has a sharp center with characteristic anamorphic fall off at the edges, pleasing bokeh with, over characteristics, which actually differs from the 40mm hexagonal bokeh that we had on its sibling. And this is a character-rich lens when compared to something like a Sigma Art or G Master, but when you're looking at the field of autofocus anamorphic lenses like the other Blazars and even traditional anamorphic glass, this set from Sirui is a bit more sterile, like a bit more subdued in its anamorphic characteristics. And you do have pincushion distortion on this, which actually threw me off a bit, but it's kind of growing on me versus the barrel distortion. I normally prefer barrel distortion, but the pincushion is growing on me and it's a different look. Now let's talk real world usage. When would you actually use a lens like this? A lot of people are actually making a case to use it for vlogging because it is a wide angle lens and has great autofocus and a close minimum focus distance. So if you want to get like cinematic vlogs, I guess you could use this for that. But if we're talking traditionally, I would say this is perfect for those establishing shots due to its wide field of view. You could probably throw this in a gimbal, being that it's small, lightweight, and compact. You can bounce it pretty easily, you don't have to worry about anything. You can get that cool establishing shot on a gimbal. Typically, that's what I would do when I would shoot music videos or do anything narrative. Wide establishing shots are always a go-to. Also, this lens is great for low light performance, being at T1.8 on a full frame camera. T1.8 is no slouch. And like I said, this does work well for both full frame and crop sensor cameras, but you will get a bit of vignetting on a full frame sensor. I shot all of the footage you see today here on the FX6, which is a full frame cinema camera, but a lot of the vignetting will disappear after you put a little crop in there, clear image zoom, crop it in post. Or if you want to embrace the vignette and call it character, you can do that too. So real quick, I figured this would be a great spot to stop the video and talk about my thoughts, more thoughts on the 20mm versus the 40mm. If you're looking for looking between the two lenses, I would say the 40mm is probably more of a versatile focal length. You could use that for talking head. You could use that for situations where you need to separate your subject a little bit more from the background by compression. But the 20mm, I'm glad they went with a wider focal length because it gives you more flexibility, so that we can get those wide establishing shots. You can get these cool hero shots like this here. I will say, comparing the two, the autofocus is a bit better on the 20mm. Actually, this is my second time recording this video because the first time it actually lost focus and I had to shut down the camera and boot it back up because I believe the contacts on this are electric. So every time you turn it off and back on, it kind of resets the focal whatever motors. That's one caveat there. That's the only time that's happened to me when using this lens. And I've used it outdoors, low light, handheld. And that's the first time it actually gave up on me. But okay, I will say that I am happy that Sirui is expanding this product category and they're adding autofocus anamorphic lenses. Of course, we have Blazar, but now we have two lenses in this set. So if you're looking to build out a set of autofocus anamorphic lenses, it looks like Sirui is, making and developing lenses for this platform. Yeah, this is an example of what a talking head situation looks like. With the Sirui 20mm T1.8, we're at 1.8. I have like 1/32 NDs on here because I'm losing daylight. But yeah, that's what the bokeh looks like. It is oval instead of hexagon, which is a little bit different from the 40mm. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Now let's talk about the money. How much does this thing cost? Honestly, it's only $7.99, and this lens offers incredible value. And right now, that value is even greater considering that they have a promotion running where you get an extra $100 off. So it's only $6.99 right now. And also down below in the description, you'll find an extra discount with my code. But even without all that, this is significantly cheaper than traditional anamorphic lenses, and you get autofocus. With all that said, this lens is far from perfect. There are a few considerations to keep in mind. First being that this is a 1.33 squeeze factor, so it's much milder than the traditional 2x anamorphic. You're not going to get the crazy anamorphic characteristics that you would get on something with a greater squeeze factor. But if you're shooting on a 16:9 sensor with the 1.33 squeeze factor, there's actually less information or less video that you have to cut off in the frame. So it's actually kind of preferred to shoot 1.33 on these new modern 16:9 sensors. There of course is some focus breathing present on this budget lens, and also you have edge softness when you shoot at wider apertures. In my opinion, the Sirui 20mm anamorphic autofocus lens is making anamorphic cinematography attainable for once, and it's great for the indie filmmaker or content creators out there. The barrier of entry is getting lower and lower, and it's great for the consumer. It delivers a classic anamorphic look, and most importantly, I'm actually happy to see that these lenses are getting firmware updates and getting better over time. I will continue to keep an eye out and watch what Sirui is doing in this space, because so far I like what I see. But that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment for more reviews. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions about the Sirui 20mm anamorphic lens that I didn't answer in this video. It's always open dialogue and open forum down below in the comments. But until next time, stay fresh. Peace.